When the young and devoted Sister Evelyn Marin arrives at St. Mary's Convent in 1893, nestled deep in the mist-covered countryside of northern England, she believes she's found her divine calling. But soon, she begins to notice strange absences among the sisters. The corridors echo with whispers after midnight, and the chapel's candles often burn without being lit. The Mother Superior, Sister Agnes, greets her warmly yet seems burdened by an unspoken dread. Each night, Evelyn hears faint singing behind the old stone walls, chants not found in any hymnal. When she inquires about Sister Beatrice, a nun she met briefly her first day, she's told there was never a Sister Beatrice at St. Mary's. Evelyn writes a letter to her brother, Father William, a parish priest in London, describing the unsettling events, but the letters never reach him. The mail rider later tells her the road to St. Mary's is long abandoned. In the convent garden, she discovers an old statue of the Virgin Mary whose eyes seem to change direction each dawn, always gazing toward the old bell tower, locked and forbidden to all. Evelyn's faith begins to tremble as she realizes she may have walked into a place not protected by God, but haunted by something older. The following morning, the convent bell rings, yet no one is seen pulling its rope. Sister Evelyn watches from her narrow window as the sound rolls across the misty fields, echoing like a funeral toll. The other nuns stop in their tracks, their faces turning pale, lips trembling in silent prayer. When she asks Sister Margaret what it means, the woman simply replies, "That bell hasn't rung in 40 years. Haunted by the previous night's whisper, Evelyn's curiosity outweighs her fear. During the evening chores, she sneaks away toward the bell tower, the only part of the convent fenced with rusted iron and sealed by heavy wooden doors. The lock, ancient and blackened with age, is wrapped in rosary beads, hundreds of them, some soaked in dried wax, others broken. On the door, faint Latin is carved, "Silence the dead, and they shall forgive." Inside, the air smells of old incense and dust. Her lantern flickers as she climbs the spiraling stairs. Along the walls, she notices painted names, faded and scratched, perhaps names of nuns. The last one is Beatrice. When she reaches the top, she finds the great bronze bell covered in cobwebs. Beside it lies a small wooden chest. Inside, she discovers a diary bound in black leather, belonging to Sister Agnes, the same Mother Superior who now rules St. Mary's. The entries begin normally. Prayers, records of Mass, but soon turn into confessions of horror. The sisters are not themselves after midnight. Their eyes reflect candlelight even when no candles burn. The bishop ordered silence. He said the Vatican forbade exorcism within these walls. Evelyn's lantern dims. She hears breathing behind her, slow, rasping, unnatural. When she turns, she sees Sister Agnes standing at the top of the stairs, eyes glimmering like glass. "You shouldn't have come here, child," the Mother Superior whispers. "The bell is not to be touched, for it calls them back." Before Evelyn can respond, a gust of icy wind slams the door shut. The bell shakes, letting out a deep, hollow sound, not fully ringing, but enough to stir something below. Evelyn feels the floor vibrate as faint footsteps echo upward. Many footsteps, climbing the stairs from beneath the ground. She clutches the diary and runs down, nearly tripping on the last steps. As she bursts into the courtyard, she glances back and sees pale hands gripping the edges of the tower door, thin, decayed, and wearing rosary beads as chains. That night, Sister Agnes calls for a midnight prayer meeting in the chapel. Every nun attends, except Evelyn, who hides the diary under her pillow. From her cell, she hears chanting. Not the usual hymns, but reversed Latin phrases, rhythmic and hypnotic. Then the bell tolls once again by itself, and all the candles in the convent go out. Morning never truly arrives at St. Mary's. A pale, eternal twilight lingers above the convent, as though the sun has forgotten this place. Sister Evelyn wakes trembling, clutching the diary that somehow returned to her hands in the night. Its pages are wet, as if they had been submerged in holy water or tears. When the bell tolls for morning prayer, Every nun silently gathers in the chapel. But something is wrong. No hymns are sung. No verses are spoken. Only the scraping of wooden pews and the faint hiss of wine through the stained glass. Mother Superior Agnes raises her hands in blessing, but her voice is gone. She moves her lips, yet no sound emerges. Every nun copies her, miming the liturgy like marionettes trapped in prayer. Evelyn feels her heart tighten. When she glances around, she realizes that several sisters have black streaks running down from their eyes, as if crying ink. Their faces are pale and stretched, and when she whispers Amen, the others turn to her with looks of horror, as though she has broken some unholy rule. After the Mass, Agnes approaches her. "You will not speak during the rites again," she says, her tone cold, distant. Words awaken them. Evelyn, shaken, retreats to the library, one of the few unlocked rooms in the convent. The place smells of mold and wax. Books line the walls in every language: Latin, Greek, Hebrew. One tome, thick and red, lies open on a desk. The first line she reads chills her blood. In the year of our Lord 1853, the convent bells rang for the lost souls of 12 nuns buried alive beneath St. Mary's floor. The entry continues, describing a ritual punishment for those accused of heresy or demonic influence. Their bodies were sealed beneath the chapel, their tongues removed to ensure eternal silence. Evelyn drops the book in horror. The same number of nuns currently living in the convent is 12. That night, she dreams of an underground crypt where 12 coffins breathe in unison. Each coffin has a rosary nailed across it, and faint whispers chant, "Redeem us, Evelyn." She wakes to find the diary open again, a new entry written in trembling handwriting. Not hers. The silent Mass was never meant for the living. Panicking, she runs to Sister Margaret's cell, only to find it empty. Bed untouched, habit folded neatly, and blood dripping from the ceiling above. When she looks up, she sees a single rosary bead swing slowly back and forth. Evelyn flees to the courtyard, gasping for air. The garden statue of the Virgin Mary now faces her cell window instead of the bell tower. Around its base are fresh footprints leading to the chapel door, bare feet, small and feminine. Inside, the chapel candles ignite by themselves. On the altar lies Sister Margaret's veil, still wet, beside a parchment marked with a blood-red seal. Evelyn opens it, trembling. It reads, "Confess before the 12th toll, or join the choir beneath." The bell begins to toll outside. Slow, thunderous, deliberate. Once, twice, thrice, Evelyn falls to her knees, praying to God for deliverance. But on the 6th toll, she hears the same whisper again. This time not from beneath the floor, but from behind the altar. "Sister Evelyn, come sing with us." The candles burst, the crucifix above the altar turns upside down, and the voices of the missing begin to hum in unison. A hymn of the damned echoing from beneath the chapel floor. Storm arrives at dawn, rain lashing against the stained glass, thunder rolling like distant drums of judgment. Sister Evelyn can no longer speak. Her throat feels raw and bruised, as though invisible hands had strangled her voice away during the night. Yet she knows she must uncover the truth buried beneath St. Mary's. She waits until the other nuns are asleep, if they sleep at all. Their footsteps echo in unison at midnight, their prayers muttered backward. She takes her lantern and the diary and descends toward the chapel. The air grows colder with every step. In the diary, Sister Agnes's last legible entry reads, "The bishop ordered the burial of 12 sisters. I sealed the crypt and rang the bell thrice. But each night, the bell rings again, though no living soul dares touch it. I fear they are not resting." Behind the altar, Evelyn finds what looks like an old confession booth. But when she pushes on one side, the wood creaks and shifts slightly. Hidden behind it is a narrow passage spiraling downward. She hesitates, murmuring what little prayer her voiceless lips can form, and descends. The stone steps are slick with moisture, the smell of iron thick in the air. Her lantern flickers as shadows dance along the walls. Soon she reaches a massive iron door engraved with 12 symbols. each one a cross marked by a circle of ash. As she touches one, she feels warmth, as though something alive presses from the other side. The lock is ancient but fragile. She forces it open with a candle stand and steps into the crypt. The chamber is vast and circular, its ceiling low. 12 stone coffins line the walls, each sealed with melted wax and rosary beads fused into the stone. In the center of the room stands a tall, black crucifix, its Christ figure faceless. Her lantern light falls upon a plaque on the floor, written in Latin. The words translate to, "Beneath the bell, they found salvation in silence." As she kneels to examine one coffin, the wax suddenly cracks. A faint whisper escapes, like a sigh long trapped. She steps back, heart pounding. One by one, the other coffins begin to hum, the sound low and mournful. Her lantern dies. Darkness consumes everything. In the pitch black, she hears movement, the scrape of stone, the click of beads. Then a voice, soft, broken, echoing from all directions. "We were promised heaven, but we found the pit." She screams silently, clutching her rosary. A skeletal hand bursts through one coffin, clutching her habit. Another follows. The chamber fills with whispers, dozens of them, rising, overlapping, crying for mercy. Evelyn falls to her knees, weeping voicelessly as pale figures emerge from their tombs. Nuns with hollow eyes, their lips sewn shut by threads of rosary. One steps forward. Her habit is torn, her face pale as bone. Evelyn recognizes her. It's Sister Beatrice, the nun who was said never to exist. "You heard the bell," Beatrice whispers. "Now you belong to us." The ground trembles. The crucifix in the center begins to bleed, red streaks running down its faceless form. Beatrice extends a hand toward Evelyn's chest, placing her icy palm over the beating heart. Only blood can silence the bell again. The air fills with the scent of smoke. Evelyn glances upward and sees faint light pouring from cracks above, the chapel floor splitting open. She stumbles toward the staircase, clutching the diary. The whispers chase her, echoing, "Ring the bell, ring the bell." When she finally bursts out into the chapel, dawn light pours through shattered glass. The convent is silent. Every candle melted to nothing, every door wide open. She turns toward the bell tower in horror. The bell, once still, swings slowly by itself. And then it rings. The sound shakes the ground. From the crypt below, she hears hundreds of voices singing, not 12 but countless. An endless choir of the lost. Evelyn collapses at the altar, trembling as the diary falls open beside her. A new line appears in black ink, written as if by invisible hands. One more joins the choir. The scene ends as Sister Agnes enters the chapel, expression empty, and says softly, "Welcome home, Sister Evelyn." The next evening, a strange quiet envelopes St. Mary's. The rain has ceased, yet the sky remains bruised purple, heavy with unfallen storm. Sister Evelyn sits motionless in her cell, eyes wide open, unable to pray. Her voice remains gone, her throat aching as though her own words had been stolen by the walls. Every surface of the convent seems to hum faintly now, the wooden pews, the stone corridors, even the crucifix in the hallway. The hum grows stronger near the chapel, blending with a distant, sorrowful chant that never stops. Evelyn recognizes the sound. A choir, but not of the living. She clutches the diary again, turning to a section she hadn't noticed before. Pages glued together by old wax. When she peels them apart, the ink has bled into strange shapes, lines forming what looks like musical notation. But instead of notes, each mark is a symbol of a human face. Mouth open, eyes hollow. At the top of the page reads, "The Choir of the Damned, a hymn to appease the unseen." That night, Mother Superior Agnes gathers the sisters for what she calls the midnight hymn of redemption. Evelyn notices how the others move like sleepwalkers, their eyes glassy, their smiles too still. No one speaks. No one breathes between their silent verses. In the chapel, 12 candles burn black instead of white. The air smells of burning feathers. The sisters kneel in a perfect circle. Agnes begins to sing, though no sound leaves her lips. Yet the air trembles, and an invisible melody fills the room. A deep, hollow chant that seems to come from beneath the floor. Evelyn's heart races. She realizes the sisters are only vessels, their bodies resonating with something else, something trapped below. Suddenly, one nun collapses. Her eyes roll back, her mouth opens wide, and from her throat erupts a choral scream. 12 voices singing through one body. The others continue their silent prayer, as though nothing has happened. Agnes looks at Evelyn, her voice finally audible for the first time in days. "Do you hear them, Sister Evelyn? They call for mercy." Evelyn shakes her head violently, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You brought this upon us," Agnes whispers. "You opened the door. Now they will not stop until the bell is silenced in blood." The candles extinguish simultaneously, plunging the chapel into darkness. The hymn continues, but louder now, echoing from inside the walls. Evelyn covers her ears, but the voices are within her skull, crying, begging, singing. Through the chaos, a vision seizes her. She stands in the crypt again, surrounded by the 12 coffins. But now, every coffin is open, and from within, skeletal hands rise, clutching crucifixes, pulling themselves upright. Their faces are wrapped in white veils soaked with blood. They move toward her in rhythm, humming the cursed melody. When the vision fades, Evelyn finds herself lying on the chapel floor. All the other nuns are gone. Only Sister Agnes remains, standing near the altar, her habit soaked and eyes black like ink. "They're free now," Agnes says softly, "and soon you will sing with them." Evelyn tries to flee, stumbling toward the courtyard. The walls seem to stretch endlessly. She bursts outside, only to find the garden transformed. The Virgin Mary statue now faces her again, but her stone mouth is open, as if mid-song. Around its base lie 12 sets of habits, folded neatly. From the convent windows, faces appear. Dozens of pale nuns, eyes dark and unblinking, mouthing the same silent hymn. The bell tolls again, slow and heavy, and Evelyn feels something inside her chest vibrate, as though her own heart is keeping time with the sound. In desperation, she kneels in the mud, clutching the diary. Lightning flashes across the sky. In that brief light, she sees her reflection in the convent window, but the reflection smiles while she does not. The diary flips open by itself. A fresh line bleeds across the page. The choir is complete when the last voice joins. A cold hand lands on her shoulder. Evelyn turns and finds Sister Beatrice standing behind her, half rotten, half beautiful, her eyes glowing with pale fire. "Your silence will be your offering." Before Evelyn can run, Beatrice presses a single finger to her lips. Instantly, Evelyn's hearing vanishes. The storm, the bell, the whispers, all gone. Only a low, endless hum remains, like a heart beating in a tomb. In that suffocating silence, Evelyn understands. The choir of the damned does not merely sing. It absorbs the living into its hymn. The part ends as the camera or narrative eye drifts upward toward the convent tower, where the bell swings alone, surrounded by fluttering habits. 12 of them and one more, still wet with rain. The storm does not end. For 3 days, the sky above St. Mary's remains dark, thunderless but heavy, as though the world itself refuses to breathe. Sister Evelyn wanders the convent's halls in silence, her voice gone, her ears dulled by the lingering echo of the choir's hymn. Yet through that muffled haze, one sound persists, the slow, rhythmic creak of the bell rope swaying in the tower above. She cannot remember sleeping. Time has lost meaning. Meals rot uneaten, candles burn to wax pools, and the air smells faintly of iron and lilies. In the mirror above her basin, her reflection lags behind her movements, delayed, blinking a moment too late. Then, on the 4th night, a shadow crosses her cell. She turns, and finds an old man standing in the doorway, clutching a rusted lantern. His clothes are worn, not a habit but a groundskeeper's coat. His eyes are pale blue and wet with age. "You shouldn't be here, sister," he rasps. "The dead don't take kindly to trespassers." Evelyn stumbles back, terrified. The man raises a trembling hand. "Don't fear me. I'm the bellkeeper, or what's left of him." He limps to the window and looks toward the tower. "I rang that bell 50 years ago. Once. Just once. And they never stopped singing since." Evelyn listens, unable to speak. The bellkeeper notices her silence and nods grimly. "Ah, they've taken your tongue then. Their way of binding the living to their vow." He tells her the story in fragments. How St. Mary's was once a hospital during a plague. How 12 nuns volunteered to seal themselves in quarantine to care for the dying. When the infection spread, the bishop ordered the tower bell to ring thrice as a sign of their sacrifice. But the bellkeeper, overcome with guilt, rang it a 4th time, and in doing so, awakened what should have been left beneath the soil. "The 4th toll opened the crypt," he mutters. "They came back singing, not for God, for remembrance." He grips her shoulder with skeletal fingers. "There's one way to end it, girl. Silence the bell forever. Destroy the rope before it rings again. Before the 12th toll." Lightning flashes. In that brief glare, the old man's skin seems translucent, veins like black vines twisting beneath. Evelyn steps closer, wanting to write her question. "How?" But the man begins to fade, his outline dissolving like mist. When the tower bleeds, he whispers, "Follow the sound." Then he's gone. Only the smell of ashes remains. That night, Evelyn climbs toward the tower, clutching a candle and a small crucifix. Each step groans under her weight. The air grows colder with each level, filled with faint sobbing, childlike, rhythmic, never stopping. She reaches the top. The bell looms above, immense, dark, and glistening as though wet. She kneels, touching the rope. It's rough, stiff, and pulsing, like a vein. She jerks her hand away, heart pounding. Beneath the bell, a puddle of dark red liquid forms, blood seeping through the cracks of the wooden floor. The tower is bleeding. Evelyn remembers the bellkeeper's words. She looks for something to sever the rope, finds an old scythe leaning in the corner. With trembling hands, she swings it down. The blade slices through halfway, but then the bell lets out a deafening cry, not metal but human, like hundreds of voices screaming at once. The shock throws her to the floor. She sees faces pressed against the bell's bronze surface. Faint, ghostly visages, mouths open in eternal song. They twist and shift, forming words that she cannot hear but can feel within her bones. "Join us. End our silence." The rope writhes like a serpent. It coils around her arm, pulling her toward the bell. She fights, gripping the scythe, cutting again, this time severing the rope completely. The bell swings violently, then stops. The air falls dead silent. Evelyn collapses, sobbing voicelessly. For a moment, she believes it's over. But then she hears it. A single note, low, long, coming not from the bell, but from below. The entire tower shakes. The floorboards split. From the gap rises a thick black smoke, shaped like human forms. The souls of the 12 nuns, screaming soundlessly as they spiral toward the ceiling. The tower door bursts open, and standing there is Sister Agnes, eyes glowing white, voice echoing with 12 tones at once. "You silenced the bell," she says, "but not the hymn." Evelyn staggers back, clutching her crucifix. "You freed them, but freed is not saved." The wind howls through the tower. The bell's bronze surface melts and reforms into a door of bone and gold. From within, light pours out like molten fire. Evelyn realizes the truth. The bell was never a symbol of worship. It was a seal, a barrier between worlds. As Agnes steps closer, her body begins to dissolve, skin flaking into dust. "Only one can take the vow now," she whispers. "One must keep the silence." She places her trembling hands over Evelyn's mouth. Darkness floods the screen of her mind. The tower fills with song again, louder, brighter, endless. When the light fades, only the bell remains, and a single nun standing beside it, face hidden by a veil. The new bellkeeper. Her name, Sister Evelyn. The convent stands still again, outwardly peaceful, its ivy-covered walls glistening with dew, as if nothing ever happened. To passing travelers, St. Mary's looks serene, a place of quiet devotion where time moves gently and prayers rise like smoke. But within, the silence is absolute. The bell no longer rings. The sisters move like shadows, whispering prayers to a God that no longer answers. And at the heart of that silence stands Sister Evelyn, the new bellkeeper. She is different now. Her face is calm, almost saintly, but her eyes carry the depth of 1,000 unheard cries. She tends the chapel, lights the candles, sweeps the marble floors. Yet she never speaks. No one remembers when she arrived, or where she came from. The other nuns avoid her cell, for sometimes at night, faint hymns drift from beneath her door, soft, mournful melodies that twist into sobbing halfway through. Weeks pass. The diary, now bound in new leather, lies hidden under her bed. Each night, new writing appears on its pages, written in an elegant, unfamiliar hand. 12 have found rest. The 13th shall keep the vow. But rest eludes her. Evelyn's dreams are filled with endless corridors lined with candles that never melt. She walks barefoot along floors of glass, beneath which 12 faces watch her, the souls she freed. They do not speak. They only sing, forming her name in wordless harmony. Evelyn, Evelyn. In her waking hours, she begins to notice things that should not be. The Virgin Mary statue now smiles faintly. The reflection in her mirror lags again, sometimes turning to face her even when she stands still. And when she kneels to pray, the walls hum faintly in response, as though listening. One evening, a new nun arrives at St. Mary's. Sister Clara, young, devout, full of naive faith. She brings with her fresh candles, a silver crucifix, and a letter from the bishop. When she meets Evelyn, she smiles warmly. "You must be the one who keeps the bell now," she says softly. "They say you saved this place." Evelyn's lips twitch into a faint smile, though she does not answer. She simply nods and gestures toward the chapel, where the bell rope lies coiled and blackened, cut clean through. That night, Sister Clara hears something strange. Faint music coming from beneath the chapel. She follows it barefoot, candle in hand. The music grows clearer, sadder, like a lullaby sung by many voices. She finds a hidden door behind the altar, half sealed by stone. On it is written in Latin, 13 shall remain. Her candle flickers. A cold breath brushes her ear, and she hears a whisper, soft, feminine, and familiar. "Don't ring the bell." The candle goes out. The next morning, Clara wakes in her cell, pale and trembling. She remembers nothing but the voice. When she goes to morning prayer, she sees Evelyn standing before the altar, her veil darker than the rest, her eyes reflecting candlelight like glass. For the first time, Clara notices a faint trickle of blood beneath the chapel floor. Later, while scrubbing the marble tiles, she discovers a new name carved faintly into the stone near the altar steps. Evelyn Marin, bellkeeper. That night, thunder returns. The convent shakes. Evelyn walks alone to the bell tower, carrying the diary. It opens on its own, the ink still wet. New words appear before her eyes. The 12th toll ends the hymn. The 13th toll begins eternity. She looks up at the bell. The severed rope has reattached itself, new and glistening, pulsing faintly like a living vein. Her heart trembles. She knows what must come next. Down below, the sisters begin to hum in their sleep. The Virgin Mary statue tilts its head upward. The tower fills with wind. The bell swings on its own, though no one touches it. 1 toll. 2. 3. Evelyn closes her eyes, clutching the diary to her chest. She steps forward and places her hands on the bell's surface. The metal is warm, almost human. 4. 5. 6. From below, the ground begins to glow with soft red light. The crypt has awakened again, but not in anger. This time, the 12 sisters rise in silence, their forms faint and luminous. They gather beneath the chapel, gazing upward with peace. 7, 8, 9. The bell trembles. Evelyn feels her heart slowing, matching its rhythm. Her breath grows shallow, her skin cold. 10, 11. Sister Clara, waking from a nightmare, rushes to the tower stairs. "Sister Evelyn," she cries, "please stop." But Evelyn only smiles faintly, a calm, eternal smile, and whispers, though no voice escapes, "The silence must be kept." The final toll rings. 12. A deep wind surges through the convent, blowing out every candle, shaking every door. Then, one more toll, softer, purer, like a heartbeat fading into stillness. 13. The bell stops. When the light returns, the tower stands empty. The rope lies still. The diary rests on the floor, open to a final page. She sang for the dead, and became their silence. From that day onward, no one saw Sister Evelyn again. But travelers who pass by St. Mary's on quiet nights claim they hear a faint hymn drifting through the fog. Not sorrowful, but peaceful, sung by 13 voices in perfect harmony. And sometimes, if you listen closely enough, you can hear the softest whisper at the end of the song, "Don't ring the bell."